the 6 weeks of practice?
Chris, I think we got an awful lot done. I think we're better today than we were when we started 6 weeks ago, but we still have a long way to go. There's no question about it. I think we learned a lot about different players this fall. We're further along with our pitching staff, obviously, than we were when we started the fall. But we still got a lot of work to do there to have the kind of championship staff that we desire to have at LSU. I think our lineup is coming around. There's still a little bit of fluidity there, and we're going to figure out what the best combination is. And we'll go into the spring a certain way and see how the 3 weeks of preseason work out before we open up on February 16th. But I like the team. I think we got a chance. But I do think we still have a ways to go before we're the kind of team that can challenge for an SEC title and beyond. But I think the potential is there, and I think we're going to keep improving, and they're going to be a fun group to work with.
Cam Sanders pitched tonight. Saw him strike out one guy, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and then 76 on a curve. And
hey, Cam's got electric stuff, and his 3 outings before tonight were all ascending. They were all getting better and better. I thought tonight he showed flashes. Wasn't as consistent as he had been in the last 3 outings. There were times when he was downright electric and overpowering, really. He's got an outstanding curveball and changeup to go with the fastball. But for him, it just begins and ends with fastball command. If he gets his fastball in the strike zone, he sets up his other pitches. And at times tonight, he didn't do that, but at times he did. And when he did, he was electric. When he didn't, he was pretty pedestrian. So, we got a ways to go with him, but I think he's got a bright future, and I think he's going to keep improving.
We've seen a lot of freshman pitchers these 3 nights. Devin Fontenot tonight.
Yeah.
The thoughts on?
Devin has had a tremendous fall. Tonight was probably the least sharp that he was all fall. Normally, he threw a bullpen session a couple of days ago. I thought I was watching Aaron NOLA. Everything was just boom, boom, right where he wanted it. And tonight, I could even tell when he was warming up in the bullpen, he just didn't have quite the same rhythm and the same, control of himself, and consequently his pitches were not. He didn't control his pitches as well. And the whole night on the mound during the game, I think, was a struggle for him. To his credit, he battled through. He only gave up the 1 run, and it only scored when he kind of tripped on the mound and threw a wild pitch. But it was the first run he's given up the entire fall in about 16 or 17 innings. So he distinguished himself this fall, and I'm excited about the spring with him.
We saw Feduccia throw out a runner at second. Got a hit tonight. I think that's 4 in these 3 games.
Let me tell you, Feduccia is going to be one of our better players. He's an outstanding player. He's going to make us a better team, defensively and offensively. One of my biggest concerns going into the fall was replacing Papierski. I think I told everybody that. But I think Hunter Feduccia is going to be a really good player for us. Very solid behind the plate, throws runners out. We had several great blocks on pitches in the dirt tonight. And he threw, like I said, he threw the runner out, and then he hit that ball hard against a left-handed pitcher. It doesn't matter if it's right-handers or left-handers for him. He's got the kind of swing that's just going to hit everybody. And he's going to be a really good player for us, no doubt.
What are some of the similarities and differences with him and Pap?
I think their throwing is very similar, about the same arm strength, and they're both very accurate. I think Pap probably has a notch better than Feduccia on just his receiving of pitches, but Feduccia's not bad, and he's getting better. I think they're about the same on blocking balls in the dirt. Pap has more power, but Feduccia has more consistency. So, no 2 players are exactly the same, but I don't think we're going to take a drop off at all with Feduccia. I think Pap was a really great player for us, and I don't think we'll skip a beat with Feduccia back there.
You've talked about Hal Hughes, shortstop, liking what you see there, and maybe kind of playing his way into a lineup spot. Is there anybody else that's sort of made things a little more interesting at a position than?
I thought Nick Webb had a really good fall. He didn't really distinguish himself in these 3 games here, which I was a little disappointed. But hitting comes and goes, and they only get in a 5-inning game, a couple of at bats, so it's pretty hard to get into a real groove. But Nick had a good fall. I thought he made some real strides for us. I thought Chris Reed had a really solid fall. You keep thinking that Reed's not going to, play a vital role, and then he just keeps playing and getting hits and making plays. I wish he could run a little faster and maybe had a little bit more power, but he's just a ball player. So he'll have some sort of a role if it's coming off the bench for us or whatever. But Overall, you know, I think we know who the players are that we're going to be able to count on, and we just got to figure out the right combinations.
A year ago, it seemed Eric Walker and Zach Hess had kind of pitched their way into being starters for you. You have a lot of spots open in that starting rotation now.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you feel like has kind of pitched their way where you can comfortably say this might be my rotation?
Not necessarily. Well, I think Caleb Gilbert, of course,
Right.
and Zach Hess, we know what he can do.
Right.
And we're going to go into the spring with Zach Hess as a starting pitcher, and hopefully he can hold on to that. The candidates, you know, are pretty obvious. I think Cam Sanders is a candidate. I think Todd Peterson had a really good fall. He was okay in this Purple Gold World Series, not as good as he had been, you know, in the weeks leading up to it. And I think A.J. Labus is a freshman that maybe could take on to a starting job as well. But remember now, we're going to take a break now. We come back to practice January 10th with individual work, and then we start practice in earnest 3 weeks before opening day. So it's almost like having a whole nother fall practice prior to the start of the season. So we'll see what kind of shape guys show up in, and you know, how much they learn from the fall and how much they retain when they come back. And then, you know, by the time that February 16th rolls around and we're playing Notre Dame, I think we'll have a good plan in place for the season.
Sounds good.